Welcome to our first lecture for marine science. The purpose of these lectures is primarily for our distance learners, since you won't be experiencing the lecture in class. And I'm going to try not to have you have to try to watch too many of the lectures kind of live streamed. I just don't know that that's going to be terribly effective. We'll use some conferencing for other purposes, but as far as the lectures go, I think, at least trial and error, I think that this is going to work a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. Also, another purpose behind these lectures would be if somebody who is a brick and mortar happens to miss a day that we did a lecture, then this is an opportunity for them to get to go back and get the full experience and not just see the slides. All of you, whether you're brick and mortar or you are a distance learner, you'll be completing a study guide. All of you will be doing it handwritten. Too much temptation for distance learners to just kind of copy and paste stuff or borrow it from friends, have them do it, and then just you print it out too, or whatever the case may be. So everybody's going to be writing it out by hand, and then distance learners, you'll be uploading it. The study guide is not a grade in itself, but if you are in one of my standard sections, then you do get a 5% bonus to your test grade for having it done. A little incentive to try to make sure that you have it complete, because this is based off of the test. The things that you're going to write on this study guide are guiding you towards the test questions. So I want to make sure that you have it done in order to help make sure you get as good a grade as possible as you can on the test. If you're in an honors section, you will not get that 5% bump. The expectation is that you should not need that 5% bump. So that's the idea. As we go, I'll try to stop and highlight the things that you should be writing. If you are a distance learner watching this and writing this stuff down as we go, obviously you are free to pause and then write stuff down and then hit play again. That's kind of what the experience will be like in class as we go through this. In class, it will take me much longer to go through these slides because of people taking notes and whatnot than what it's going to take right now for me to try to buzz through them for the sake of this video. But let's get going. What is marine science? Marine science is a very broad field. It covers the link between oceanography and marine biology. You don't have to be writing anything down yet. You will get to number one in just a minute. Marine science, it can study everything from the physics of ocean currents to the communication between marine animals, split up between marine biology and oceanography, kind of two large fields that fall under marine science, where a marine biologist is going to study the organisms that inhabit the sea. The oceanographer is mainly going to study the physical, non-living aspects of the ocean. So things like tides, currents, waves, all that fun stuff. So here we get to our definition. This is what you're writing for number one. What is marine science? Marine science is the study of the ocean, its ecosystems, and its life forms, as well as the study of coastal environments, ocean currents, and the sea floor. You'll notice that this is in bold. I have tried to kind of go through and put most of the things that you need to write down in bold letters. I may have missed one or two things, but I tried my best to kind of highlight the stuff that we're going to focus on for the sake of our note taking. So make sure that you get that full definition down. It is word for word on the test. Why is studying the ocean important? Just an interesting quote here to think about how inappropriate it is to call the planet Earth when it is quite clearly ocean. A very, very significant amount. We'll give you the number on the next slide, but the majority of the surface of the Earth is ocean, is water. How many oceans are there? This is an interesting question. Most of you throughout your childhood may have grown up learning that there are 4 or maybe 5, kind of depending on who you ask. It used to be 4 when I was a kid, and we have since split one of them up and kind of consider it 5. But really, the way that we want you thinking about the ocean for the sake of this class, how many oceans are there? We want you thinking in terms of one global ocean. All of these oceans are connected and interact with each other on an everyday basis, and so we want you thinking in terms of that one global ocean. So where is water found on Earth? So the Earth is roughly 71% water. and 29% land. You want to go ahead and write down those first two bullet points. 97.5% of Earth's water is in the ocean. That means that only 2.5% of Earth's water is fresh water. Lots and lots of water on the planet, but our fresh water is a very, very small percentage of that, and that's something that's going to come up later in this class. It's an important thing for us to understand. There may be a lot of water, but not a lot of water that we can drink right now. Of that fresh water, 69% is frozen, 30% is groundwater. This is just of the fresh water, and 0.4% is in the atmosphere. With lakes and that kind of stuff, not really something that we cover a whole lot in this class. We focus on the ocean, so I'm gonna keep going.
6T, if you're on campus, please call the front desk at extension 18321.
As you can see, our lectures are regularly going to be interrupted by the bell in the intercom. Give her a second to finish it. All right, so why study marine science? This is going to be number 3. Why is studying the ocean important? I did not bold anything. There's going to be 5 reasons here, and I want you to just summarize each reason as best you can. Please do not feel like you have to write the whole thing out for each one. You will run out of room. There's no need to do all that. So one of the reasons why we would study marine science, it is believed that life is believed to have arisen in the sea, and so studying marine life can help provide clues about early life. So maybe you would write, provide clues about early life for the first one. For the second reason, many products come from the sea. You could maybe just go with lots of products. So things like food sources, medicines that are derived from marine species, just all kinds of items that end up being for human use. Decorations, things like shells, and we happen to be in an area where you can find shark teeth on the beach, and I love to do that. Just lots of things that resources that are provided to humans from the ocean. The third one, marine organisms produce oxygen that are used by all kinds of organisms, including obviously humans. This is actually, we're bumping down to number 4 here. We're kind of still answering number 3, but specifically you do need to write that bold part for number 4. How much of Earth's oxygen is produced by marine organisms? Roughly 50% of the oxygen that we have on Earth is generated by marine organisms. For the fourth one, the marine environment provides recreation, it supports tourism. We know as Floridians, lots and lots of folks come in as tourists every year, and the beach is a big part of why they do. It is a major part of our Florida economy, and we can all understand why. In fact, probably a few of you who are watching this came from somewhere else, and part of the reason why your family moved here is because they wanted to be closer to that water. And a fifth reason, and I do want to make sure that you have this one down. Of all of the 5 reasons that you're providing for number 3, make sure that you have something here. This will be on the test, that the oceans help to regulate the climate. The water is slow to change temperature, and we'll talk about that more in another unit. It keeps coastal land masses more stable year-round. Just a very important role that the ocean plays in helping to regulate Earth's climate. And now we're jumping down to number 5. Describe the 6 main research areas in marine science. Here are the 6, but we have a slide for each one that will walk us through each one. So first we've got geology. Geology aims to answer questions about the Earth's formation, about crust movement, characteristics of the sea floor, features of the sea floor, the kind of a natural history of these features and of the Earth's climate, that kind of thing. Important to understanding the physical makeup of the planet. That's going to be the geology aspect of it, and lots of jobs that fall into that geology field for marine science. Physical, going to be things like wave dynamics, currents, ocean atmospheric interaction. So right now, definitely some jobs out there that would apply to this field as well as just the recreation side of it. Being familiar with those waves and currents can be something that that can benefit people and how they use the ocean as a form of recreation. Climate, they're going to examine the ocean's role in the Earth's changing climate. Pretty self-explanatory there. Obviously, a lot of jobs and a lot of research going on right now related to that topic. Chemical, maybe something we don't necessarily think about when we think about the ocean, but chemical oceanographers are going to study the mechanisms that control the distribution of elements and compounds in the atmosphere and the ocean and coastal waterways and sediments on the seafloor. In other words, they're going to study things like salinity and like acidity, and trying to see how if salinity increases or if the ocean becomes more acidic, how is it going to impact this area and these populations? They kind of work with other areas within the world of marine biology, but having that chemical side of it is incredibly important. We won't do a ton of chemistry in this class, but there are some pieces of it here and there that come up, especially early on. I think Unit 3, Properties of Water, there's going to be a little bit of the chemistry side of it that comes up in there. Biology, the studies the nature and the distribution of marine organisms. This is probably the reason why most of you are taking this class. This is where we get into to all the animals themselves and the impacts of pollution, searches for medicine, analyzing fisheries, a big part of the global economy right now, and trying to make sure that we're doing those responsibly and effectively. So just tons and tons of stuff that falls into this world of marine biology. It's really not, being at a park where you swim with dolphins all day. I know some people kind of have that in their head of what a marine biologist does. Really, in real world, what marine biologists do is much, much more important than just that playing around and trying to entertain people side of things. And then last but not least, we have engineers. Engineering in the world of marine science is an incredibly important and incredibly difficult task, a very specialized field within engineering. We're talking about designing and building ships, harbors, seawalls, oil platforms, all kinds of other maritime structures where it is incredibly important to get this stuff right. The ocean is a powerful thing. You have the salt, the salinity of the ocean that you have to work with too. They can deteriorate structures. There's all kinds of factors that come into play for these engineers who are trying to build this stuff and come up with the best plan to do it. From there that takes us to lesson 2. So that's Unit 1, Lesson 1. That's the general gist of how these lectures are going to go. Things can always change, but for right now, this is how we're going to try to do the lecture piece of it for our distance students. Feel free to message me if you have any questions, but that's Unit 1, Lesson 1, Intro to Marine. Peace.